be or make it viable? And how will they look like? We've seen some of the design from Klim earlier. Which sites could actually make money? Where and when will this happen? And obviously, all these answers exist somewhere, but they probably could be buried inside thousands of pages of regulations and technical reports. And this is exactly what we do at Lyneports. We help in turning those rules into ready-to-build infrastructure. And in terms of what is Lyneports, in simple words, Lyneports is a business development and analysis software. And behind the scenes, it's much more. It's a decision intelligence platform that transforms how cities, how airports, and also how companies plan for aviation and advanced air mobility. So obviously, it looks into automating regulatory checks, site layouts, and even scenario models in terms of what would be the best operations. You've heard from Fateh earlier, cargo is probably the way to go in the first early years before we transport people. This is currently the discussions that we're hearing quite often. What would be the type of cargo that we're moving? And this is some of the questions that Lyneports answers, and also making sure that these locations would be investment ready. The reason why this matters is because early stage infrastructure planning is one of the biggest bottlenecks in air mobility. I first saw this when I was at Lilium. The challenge was obviously beyond only flying the aircraft, but also about building the ground infrastructure to support it. And what's missing from this is coordination. You have cities, you have developers, you have regulators, too many people and too many tools that are being developed and to work around this to solve this bottleneck. So understanding these regulations, these guidances, even writing them, and also between urban planning and also aviation planning, and finding a safe and practical site, and working with many stakeholders, and also many aircraft types and different types of operation, and also proving a business model is a bit challenging, I have to admit. So Lyneports was literally built to solve that problem, right? To turn the complexity into a clear plan, and to help every stakeholder make confident, data-driven decision. And this is all done within one digital platform. You probably have seen it all across social media. We also encourage you to see how Lyneports works. It's very simple. It's very user-friendly. It does help in identifying those sites. Besides this, I did want to show this slide here, because if you open Flight Radar today and you look at it right now, you'll see that there's over hundreds of thousands of commercial flights every day on top of our sky, okay? And this is not counting cargo or private or defense aircrafts and movements and operation. Now, if we imagine adding millions of drones and eVTOLs in the same sky, the challenge becomes quite obvious here. And that is not only about finding one location for one aircraft, but multiple vehicles, and also about obviously finding a network for these vertiports, because as Clem showed in his slides, it's not about just point to point, but it's also about building a hub that is feasible, that is advantageous and investable. So obviously we need a network for vertiports, and we need corridors that are safe, profitable, and sustainable, and also fitting the culture and heritage and urban fabric for each city. And just to simplify the process, that's why we built Lyneports, is to make the planning simple and fast, designing this new layer of mobility in a new way that makes sense economically, socially, and spatially. So with Lyneports, you can turn a simple prompt into a complete regulatory compliant ground layout in just 5 easy steps. This is not only for vertiports, it's also for airports and also drone landings. And when I say regulatory compliant, I'm focusing on the frameworks that are currently being developed. And all this is done within one platform. As I mentioned, we go beyond air taxis and eVTOLs. So Lyneports works for drones, for commercial jets and aircrafts, helicopters, and anything in between. And I do want to highlight this is because in this industry, you can't just plan in 3D anymore. Every site has multiple layers. You have the ground, the structure, the airspace, and also how it changes over time. And besides that, there's also a fourth dimension that guides it all, and that is safety and regulation. So automating intelligently how these rules are interpreted are very, very vital. We're very proud to have worked with the aviation authorities, airports, and developers across several regions. We actually have been engaged on more than 500 sites globally. We have also collaborated on more and supported more than 30 projects as well. And all of this has been done with Lyneports. So teams that have used Lyneports have been able to turn early ideas into data-backed maps and opportunity maps that are viable, where they have identified vertiport sites and defined clear investment paths. We do focus on identifying the sites, so companies like Skyports and others can look into actually building those when the time is there. And obviously, when planning becomes clear, collaboration, of course, accelerates and cities move closer to real implementation. Now, across all projects, there's obviously one issue that keeps repeating, and that is that aviation and urban planning and mobility still works in silos. You have the opportunity right now to align these worlds and fuse them together. And this will help cities plan intermodal mobility. So when we're looking at vertiports and how we want to connect them naturally with metro lines, with roads, with pedestrian, with corridors, and looking at the city as a whole, that is something that is really vital for the fabric and for the fabric of the city. So obviously, when these systems connect, air mobility stops being just futuristic, and we're looking at it becoming part of our everyday infrastructure and transportation systems. Last but not least, we do believe that to build this ecosystem, you need an engine that gets cities and OEMs and also developers to say, yes, this site actually and network works. And when you create an opportunity map with Lyneports, you can see where infrastructure makes sense, technically, financially, and contextually, but also helping stakeholders move from concept to investment with confidence. Let me just end by saying the sky's not the limit. It is the next layer of the city. I think that we always need to be motivated to fix things and to find solutions for the challenges that we face. This industry obviously needs our help and support from all sectors. And beyond this, the city needs to plan it right. And obviously, who owns this one is the one that will own the future, are the people that are going to work on this today. Thank you, everyone. I hope I didn't go by